All right, folks, welcome back to Kings of Opinion, episode 84. We actually have Wanderer back from his little absence. Welcome back, buddy.
Welcome back.
And as usual, Big Earn, when he's not busy doing whatever he's doing, he's here as well. So how was everyone's Thanksgiving?
Excellent.
That was good,
Excellent.
yeah. How about yours?
That was a little hectic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
What happened?
So my sister brought the twins out for the first time. Well, not the first time, but the first holiday, I should say. And, you know, my mom has all these little tchotchkes and statues laying around everywhere.
Okay.
So just imagine, like, my dining room / living room is no bigger than this apartment, right? And having a table in the middle of it, and then the kids just running rampant all around the house and making sure they don't break anything. You know?
Not an easy assignment.
No, not at all. And, like, so, like, I was expecting, like, obviously I knew they were coming, so I was like, it was going to be different. But, you know, I want to come home from work, I want to eat, I want to sit on the couch and watch football and fall asleep for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then go home, you know? I didn't get to do any of that. Well, I got to eat, but like I'm on the kiddie table, and I got, you know, my godson to my left, and then, you know, my niece basically to my right, and they're just grabbing everything. Like, I'm just trying to drink water. They're grabbing the glass. I'm like, no, you can't do that. They're banging on the table. I'm moving stuff to the couch. Like, I'm drinking my water. My water's on the couch behind me, and I'm going to grab my water just to drink and eat. So I'm like scarfing down the big Z, you know what I mean? And feeding them a little bit at the same time. I hear eat this, eat that, because they're just messing around with the big ziti. So I was exhausted after that. I was like, I'm done. I just was like, I still gotta go to work the next day. I was like, I gotta go home and just relax.
Yeah.
I got to watch some of the football because my seat was right in front of the TV. So it was almost like a movie theater, but did I really watch a lot of it? No.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I saw the Giants get their, balls busted a little bit by the Dallas Cowboys, which, no shocker to me, right? And I'm sure not you guys either, because I didn't think the Giants had a chance in that game anyway. But yeah, that was my Thanksgiving. Anyone got a better story for Thanksgiving?
No, not really.
How was yours? Your house is always busy.
Yeah, it was good. Everybody was over, so we had a good time.
What'd you have for Thanksgiving besides like the turkey?
Just traditional stuff: ham, turkey, sweet potato.
Nothing Italian?
No.
Really?
No.
I'm shocked your family doesn't do that.
No.
No pasta.
We strictly traditional Thanksgiving dinner.
That's something. That is kind of crazy. I definitely thought you were gonna have some kind of like Italian dish. Well, you probably had the antipasta, right? Not even that.
We did strictly.
Wow, I'm shocked. What about you, Wander?
Yeah, it was good. Mostly, yeah, I guess you would say traditional. Besides, what was the first thing we had?
Eel.
Stuffed shells.
Oh, stuffed shells is a good way to go too.
Yeah,
With mozzarella on it?
Yeah, and with the meat sauce too. It was good.
Oh, the bolognese sauce?
Yeah.
That's a good pasta to have. I haven't had stuffed shells in a while, come to think of it.
Yeah, me neither.
It was very
Oh,
good.
we gotta try and get that.
I've been working on Thanksgiving leftovers all week so far.
Me too. At least a little bit here and there. Like I had stuffing and a little bit of turkey last night.
Yeah.
And I think sweet potatoes. There's not much left of that. And then over the weekend I had a little dash because I made my White Castle
Oh yeah, that's right. How did it come
stuffing.
out?
Not great. I mean, I liked it. A couple other people liked it, but I basically made a small little tray because 10 to 12 White Castle burgers, if nobody doesn't know, if you're not going to watch any episode, right now is the part you're going to have to watch. It will change your life. I actually gave this recipe to Mike, and it was killer over there.
Really?
So I don't know what I did wrong this year as opposed to next year. Maybe I rushed it a little bit, but I followed the directions to the T, mixed it and everything like that. But my dad is super sensitive to, I guess, seasonings now or whatever. I guess he's getting older. So he tasted the pepper a lot. But I'm like, I literally, for the 10 to 12 burgers, which makes an 8x8, maybe 9x9, like basically the same pan that I use for the cookies.
Right.
That kind of pan. You put like a half a teaspoon or 3/4 of a teaspoon in there. And that's all I put. And like I spread it around, and then you put the chicken stock in there, and then you mix it. And I mixed it. Like I mixed it for a good like minute or two. And I was like, I thought it was good enough, and I pack it in the tray, and then I cooked it the next day, right? And he said it was just too peppery. I'm like, and I took basically it all home. Like there was like a little chunk missing from whoever ate that that night, so I had like a whole tray of stuffing, you know. So I've been eating stuffing, you know, for like since Thanksgiving. Basically, was that 4 days now, 5 days, you know. But yeah, other than that, like Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving. I think it's like the hardest like holiday, you know, like just in general, getting everybody over, all the cooking and everything. Because I feel like Christmas is busier just because you got gifts. The dinners aren't as crazy because there's not as much food.
And you're guaranteed to, I mean, at least for most of us, you're guaranteed to work the day before. You're guaranteed to work the day after. So
it's like you're fitting everything in like a 6 to 8 hour window.
Right.
And I don't even know anybody that really hangs out that long, like 8 hours, unless you're skipping from place to place and you're splitting it in half or something like that. But if you're just going to one place, like I wanted to leave by like 5. I didn't even want dessert at that point. I was like, I got there a little after 3, but I was like, I'm done. Like I was up at 5 in the morning. I'm like, I just want to go and lay down and watch whatever's left of the football games and crash because I had to be up early for the next day to go to work.
I know. I mean, like for me, the next day at work was not bad because it was quiet and stuff.
Oh, me too.
Compared to usual, but it's just like...
But traffic was still miserable.
Just being there, it's like getting up and...
Just having to get up after that kind of meal where you basically force feed yourself like 3 pounds of food easily. Yeah. And then waking up the next day at any point, unless you have the day off where you wake up at like 10, 11 o'clock and you're like fully digested, like you're just dragging ass.
Yeah.
You know, and then you just can't wait to leave. Thankfully, I was able to leave at a decent time, but, you know, whatever. And like Christmas is different. Speaking of which, we're in the Christmas season now, even though it's been like that since Halloween.
Yeah.
I feel like Christmas is great because you get 2 days, and then everyone takes off the next day after that. It's like, whatever.
What day of the week does it fall on this
Wednesday.
year?
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh.
I know, it's the worst. It's probably the worst 2 days you could have.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? Because you're right in the middle of the week. Like, you can't take off Monday, so you're going into, unless you have one of those jobs where they just give you off the week, you're going into work Monday, and you're probably going into work Thursday, Friday, unless you take off one of those, if not both those days.
Why wouldn't you be going in Tuesday?
Christmas Eve? Some people don't. Some places are closed Christmas Eve. I mean, not any retail stores, but like some businesses are shut down, you know? I'm sure. So, or at least close early.
Shit, so that stinks.
Yeah.
Work Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday, Friday, back to work. Oh, God.
Misery. Kind of feel like you should take like your vacation week that week, but then I feel like you got to go away for that holiday. Like, you can't be here for that if you're, you know? But hopefully I get off. I want to take off this Christmas. I'll work Christmas Eve, take off Christmas, and then it'll give me a little bit of a break. So that'll be kind of nice. But yeah, let's get to these crappy football games that we saw this weekend. Well, not just the weekend. It felt like all week.
Yeah.
We had games on Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday.
Right.
To be fair, I want to start off with the Monday night game since it's most fresh in my head. The Denver game against the Browns. I didn't watch it.
Me neither.
But like I saw a bunch of highlights today, and I was kind of upset I didn't watch it. Like I had a feel of the game like it was going to be like a low scoring, like bummer kind of game, and I didn't even place any bets on it because I was like, I don't want to go anywhere near this game. Like the Browns have a good defense, so do the Broncos, and both guys are kind of unproven. Though Bo Nix has been doing really well the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
I just thought it was going to be a letdown of a game, so I didn't watch it. And then like I think I caught it in the fourth quarter just to score, and it was 32-31 Browns, and I'm like, what is going on here? So like if you guys weren't an idiot like me and thought that it was going to be a high-scoring game and you made some bets, you probably won some money last night.
Yeah, well, when I was watching it, I think it was 7-7, and I forget who had the ball, but, you know, when I woke up today and saw the score, I said, wow, it looks like some things happened.
Yeah, some things definitely happened.
Shootout,
what's his name? Jameis Winston threw for almost 500 yards, but apparently he threw 2 interceptions in the last few minutes of the game. They actually had a chance to come back, but he just kept throwing picks. He had 3 picks last night, and Bo Nix had another nice game. So he keeps it rolling, and it looks like as of right now, if I'm looking at my sheet, the Denver Broncos are in the playoffs, not just in the hunt. They're in the playoffs right now, so that's kind of wild in itself.
A big turnaround. From
huge turnaround. So yeah, that was that game. Then we'll skip to the Thanksgiving games. The Lions-Bears game was a little bit of a letdown to me.
Yeah, I mean, you expected the Lions to just destroy them, and they didn't.
No, and the Bears stayed pretty much in the game, and that non-timeout call at the end.
Oh my God!
Like, what is that guy thinking? Like, explain to us, please. What was he thinking?
That might be. I mean, at least that I can remember, the worst play I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, you're down by a field goal.
They were well in field goal range, and they had a timeout.
Yeah, and let's not forget that, you know, you had the Lions on the ropes like most of that game. Like, your defense was keeping you in there. The thing that troubled me is the coach after the game said something to the effect that I didn't think we needed the timeout right there. And don't worry, I'll be coaching next week. And then the next day he gets fired.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were pretty much reeling since that loss to Washington. So, you know, they seem to be falling apart. And, you know, when you have a mistake like that on a national game, you know, tough spot.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time for that guy to get fired.
I actually think if he owned his mistake, he'd still have a job right now.
I don't think so.
I do. It's the fact of what he said and how he said it. I can only think of it as like a ball, like the owner of the team or even like the GM and being like watching his press conference and being like,
Yeah, but
what?
You almost think that he made that comment because he already knew he was getting fired. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of those things where it's like, listen, if you lose this game,
You're done.
Getting fired.
Oh, that's an interesting take.
And you know, that's just kind of like a smart ass remark. You know, I guess.
Yeah, kind of like to just say "f you."
F you.
Yeah, that's actually I actually like that. I might that kind of just changed my mind a little bit. But if that wasn't the case, and we'll never know, I feel like if everything was equal and that wasn't said, like that comment that he made cost him his job because at this point, the division they're in is probably the best division in football right now because they have 3 teams that are well over 500.
Yeah.
So even if you were somewhat close,
Surprising, right? I mean, that division was the
the
dog
the
crap.
toilet bowl for a little while, but now like all 3 teams are good and some surprising, some not. Like the Packers were good last year. Minnesota fell off a little bit last year, but what's surprising about Minnesota is Sam Darnold is actually doing really good for them, and they're all right in the mix. You know, I mean, Detroit's obviously the best team in the NFC right now, and they showed it even on Thanksgiving. Those games that they played on Thanksgiving like that, they would have lost those games a few years ago.
Oh,
they
yeah.
still won that game even though they weren't as sharp. And it's not all their fault either. Like they were still moving the ball. It's just when it got to a certain point, they were just stopped. You know what I mean? And those games are going to happen. When they do, you still want to win those games, which is what they did. So kudos to them in winning that game. I just, you know, I'm a fantasy football fan, and then, you know, Amon-Ra St. Brown to have like a touchdown and 100 yards, and I didn't get it. And I'm telling you right now, Dan, listen to me here. The next couple weeks are huge. I need him to have big games the next 3 out of 4 weeks. Okay? Next week this week I need it. The following week, if hopefully I don't because I'll get a bye. And then the 2 after that I'm going to need. So I don't care what you're doing. You better tell Goff to force feed him that ball, at least in the end zone. I need some touchdowns from this guy, okay? 100 yards. The guy catches like he's the second best wide receiver in the league right now. Give him 10 catches for 100-something yards. I don't understand what's happening right now.
Yeah.
All right? And then
The problem is they got too many weapons on that
you're
team.
100% right because that game, Sam Laporta, I think, maybe had 1 or 2 touchdowns all season, and then he has 2 in that game.
I know, and of course, please don't get me started on that game.
And I lost $40 because of that game because I started my parlays with that game, and I did a bunch of different things. Gibbs to score a touchdown, Montgomery to score a touchdown, Brown to score a touchdown. Didn't get any of them. So all my parlays for Thanksgiving were all shot before the 4 o'clocks. And then I try and make it back and do a couple three-leg parlays, and they were all shot by the 4 o'clock. So after that, I was like, I'm done. Thanksgiving's over for me. That's probably another reason why I was cranky on Thanksgiving. Now that I think about it.
Now that you think back to it.
Yeah. And then it only gets worse from there. Friday, whatever, the Chiefs won, great, okay, let's move it along because they're just going to keep winning.
Bengals for the 100th time scored over 30 points and still lose.
Yeah, and we picked them too.
Unbelievable.
And I'm like, they have to win this game. And they're actually playing it on whatever we're watching on ESPN right now. They have to have the worst defense. And I know they're only ranked 30th out of 32 teams. But they should have who's worse than them with defense? Like, I've been watching the Bengals every week. Their defense is atrocious. Like, we could throw touchdowns on them.
It's unbelievable. And usually, I mean, in the last, handful of years, their defense, was always very decent at least.
Yeah, I would say that. That's accurate. Their defense has always kept them winning games. Like, Burrow would take over and the offense would win the game, but the defense would keep you in there. Like, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing now. Like, they had a lead, and then they blow it, and, like, Pittsburgh scored, like, I want to say it was 14 or 17 points in a row, and then Burrow has to just throw the ball, and he's so filthy, he comes right back. Like, if they had another minute on the clock, they were going to turn the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to turn the ball over, because they basically almost, like, they should have stopped them sooner. That's why the game ended. But if they had another minute on the clock, it was like 3rd and something, and they were going to stop them there. And they obviously just kneeled the ball, and the game was over because I think it was like 30 seconds left. But if they had a minute and a half, they were going to stop them. If Burrows gets that ball back, there's no doubt in my mind that he marches them down the field and they score a touchdown. And I feel bad for the guy, or the kid, I should say. I don't know how old he is, but he's amazing.
Crazy.
Like, he makes me wish we had a quarterback like that for the Jets.
And how is it that you don't have teams, especially some of these teams that just can't seem to get it right, like just offer the bank to a guy like Mike Tomlin to come over and coach them? 17 seasons and never a losing season.
And
It's crazy.
to keep this in perspective, since he's lost Roethlisberger, he hasn't had a franchise quarterback.
Right,
and I still
right.
don't think he does right now either with Russell Wilson. He's just getting lucky.
Who they couldn't wait to get rid of in Denver.
Right.
And look at him now.
Right, but it was the right move for both parties if you look at it.
No, I get it, but I mean, he's playing well.
Right, and he set his career record in passing yards the other day with 414 passing yards against the Bengals. I mean, that's not saying much. I mean, I feel like I could throw for 300 yards against the Bengals. But still, like, and now, speaking of this game, I'm now worried because even though they have a slight glimmer of playoff hope because the AFC is, like, so top and bottom heavy, like, they still have a chance to make the playoffs. They have to win every game. Now, I'm like, when you'll see, and I'll explain more with the picks, I'm going to ride them until they lose because I need Joe Burrow and Chase Brown on my fantasy team relevant. Because one thing I don't want them to do is sit either one of them down if they have, like, a minor injury or, like, it's cold out or snowing and, like, oh, we don't have the chance of the playoffs, we're not going to play them. Because my fantasy season will be on the line there. And you know what that's all about. You used to, at least. You know what I mean? Like, I can't have that.
No,
he's
you
technically...
need those guys playing in those big games.
Yeah, and he's technically the second biggest, or the second best quarterback fantasy-wise right now.
Yeah.
So I need him.
Fantasy playoffs start soon.
Yeah, and after this week. So, like, I got to win this week. Like, they're playing the Cowboys. They got to beat the balls off the Cowboys. But I actually hope the Cowboys come out and it's another one of these high-scoring affairs, or else they're going to, like, take Burrows out in the third quarter, and he might give me 20 points, but I need that 30-something point performance from him every week moving forward. I don't need the 55-point. Will I take it like he did 2 weeks ago? Hell yeah, I will, especially if I make it to the championship round and I can secure my 4th championship in, you know, a little over a decade. Not bragging or anything, but whatever. But yeah, I need him to come through. Like, I need these games to be meaningful. So I hope he plays, and I hope they keep, as long as they win this week, that buys me another week, and then it buys me another week.
Yeah, they should win. I mean,
we'll talk about it in a few minutes.
Yeah.
And now let's get to the Jet game. Oh, did we talk about the Dallas Giant game? Is there anything we want to talk about that, or?
no, I mean, it wasn't.
I will say this.
Not much to talk about.
I will say this. It was the most watched football game, I want to say ever. They had 38.5 million people watch a regular season football game.
I mean, I find that hard to believe, but that's what you heard?
It's true. Maybe it's not ever, but maybe it's in a really long time. But like we could look it up at some point. But I'm pretty sure that's what I heard our sources on the radio say.
Wow.
But like they had the perfect time for the game. It's dinner time. That people just had it on as background.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's why the Cowboys get that, but who knows? Maybe next year that changes. Maybe it's Detroit that gets that middle game, and the Cowboys are playing the early game.
Yeah, the early game. You never know.
Right now,
you never know. But getting to Sunday, I don't know. There were so many weird games. I do a pick'em like sheet every week, and I thought I did really well. I only lost 2 games this week out of all the games from Thursday to Monday, and I still lost because there were 6 people that had perfect scores.
Wow.
How is that possible? How is that possible?
It's
Granted, one of my losses was the Bengals game because I went the other side.
right?
But the other game, I can't remember which one I lost, but I went 12-2 on this pick'em sheet, and it's just pick'em, no spreads, no nothing, just pick'ems. How does 6 people pick
That's
perfectly?
why, because it was no spreads.
Yeah, but this is like I think the first week that there were perfect scores. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean you're not usually seeing them, but I mean
maybe it was a lot of favorites winning. I guess I don't know.
It would have to be. It was. What is it? 14 games.
I'm gonna guess it was every. Let's see.
Every
The
favorite.
Cowboys were favorite, right? They won. The Lions were favorite. They won. The Packers were favorite. They won. The Chiefs were favorite. They won. The Colts, I'm sure, were favorites. They won. Steelers, Bengals. I think the Steelers were favorite, right? They won.
No, they weren't. Bengals were given points.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
But again, you could see a lot of people betting against the Bengals because one, the Steelers are doing well, and the Bengals are losing every game, no matter how many points they score. Chargers, Falcons. I think the Chargers were favorite.
They were.
Right?
They were.
Seahawks, Jets. Seahawks were favorite.
Yep.
Yeah, they were given points.
They were
Okay.
getting five.
And Texans, Jaguars. Texans were favorite. They won.
That's the game I lost, the Jet game.
You bet with your heart.
Yep.
Dumbass.
Yep.
Which is okay because then you would have even been more frustrated because you would have only had one loss and still lost.
Correct. It was a no-win situation for me.
Yeah, it was all the favorites won this week. That's
Okay.
That's the thing.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, because then Vikings, Cardinals.
Vikings sweeped it out, yeah.
Commanders, Titans. Commanders were favorite. Buccaneers, Panthers. Buccaneers were favorite. Rams, Saints. I think the Rams were favorite.
I would imagine.
Eagles, Ravens. That I don't know which one was favorite. And Bills, 49ers. Bills were favorite. So.
And then the Broncos were favorite, and they won.
Oh, and then the Broncos.
Yep. So yeah, the Jet game started off good for some weird reason. We were up
Started off great.
yeah, you're right. It was great. They were up like 21-6 at the half.
Yeah, and as soon as the third quarter started, you knew they were losing that game.
Yeah, it was like,
So sad.
what am I watching? And I'm like, and listen, like I know they say these guys don't tank and this, that, and the other, but you can't tell me you scored 21 points. And granted, one of them was a special team touchdown, so it was really only 14 points. But I've watched every Jet game this year, and they always start off like slow and
Bad.
pathetic and bad. Not even bad, pathetic. Where like we're going into the half, maybe losing 21-6. We finally have a 15-point lead, and you're like, okay, the Jets are finally going to win a game, which is awesome, but sucks because you now at this point in the season, your draft stock is just plummeting with every win you have, right? And like we said earlier, there's so many bad teams that the 10th pick in the draft is, I want to say 4-9 or 4-10. So you get a win, you drop out of the top 10, which if you have any chance of getting a decent quarterback, you need to be somewhere in that top 10. And this year, it's slim pickings for quarterbacks. Last year was the time to do it. And, we didn't have an opportunity to do it for whatever reason. And all these quarterbacks came out, and a lot of them are doing pretty decent for first year quarterbacks, right? So you want to lose, right? And the fan base at this point, they want you to lose. But when you're winning by 15 and you don't score a single point in the second half, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And what is Aaron Rodgers doing? There's all these comments coming from all over the place, and it's almost like the Juan Soto thing. Can we stop talking about Aaron Rodgers at this point? Wait till at least the end of the season.
They should be talking about benching him.
Right. Well, that's one of the things that they were talking about. And then they say, no, he's playing. And then they ask him, the stupidest question I ever hear is, are you coming back next year? Dude, it's just became December. Why we know from last year.
And at this point, why would you even want him back next year?
And that's another good point. I'm probably one of the Aaron Rodgers only fans left, and I don't even want him back at this point. Or I'm 50-50. I guess it all depends how the draft shakes out. But if we know what we know about Aaron Rodgers from last year, he's not going to tell you until June. So why are we asking him now? And then you got one reporter saying he's not coming back. He wants to play another year somewhere else. You got him saying, I don't know if I'm retiring yet or not, but if I do come back, I want to come back to New York. This is all Juan Soto fluff. No one wants to hear this right now.
Yeah.
I want to hear you take responsibility for why the team sucks. And don't get me wrong, it's not just Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, is he 41 years old and he's lost 3 or 4 steps? Of course. Has he looked better of late than in the beginning? Yes. Is he the same Aaron Rodgers as 2022? Absolutely not. But we didn't need him to be if our defense was supposed to be as good as they proclaimed it to be in August.
Yeah.
And they're awful. Especially some of the guys that are young that are supposed to be getting better for at least a couple of years.
And you got a decent backup, right?
But what is he gonna do? At this point, you're paying Rodgers all this money. Just let him play at this point.
I mean, I get it, but it's almost like you feel like you want to just knock him off his high horse a little bit and piss him off so that he doesn't want to come back next year.
Yeah, but then you got to get into all these conversations about trades, unless he just straight up retires. Then you got to try and figure out where he wants to be traded to. It's almost going to be like what Green Bay had to deal with 2 years ago.
Right.
And the Jets can't really deal with that. They already have to pick a new GM and a new head coach. We know that. On top of everything else they got to deal with.
Yeah.
And then you got this Rex Ryan crap, and people want him. Some people want what's the guy's name that coached for Tampa Bay? Gruden. Some people want an offensive coordinator or a defense coordinator. How many times would we make that mistake? I've been a Jet fan for 30 years, almost, and that's all I remember are us getting head coaches that are first-time head coaches. And I get it. Nobody wants to come to the Jets to fix it. But does nobody have a pair of balls out there to say, let me at least give it a try?
Yeah.
You know what I really want? And I would throw literally not just the kitchen sink. I'll throw a fridge at his ass too. Give me Vrabel.
Yeah.
I want him so bad. And that guy seems like a tough dude. He's a winner with the Patriots. He was a winner with the Titans. Granted, he didn't win a Super Bowl with the Titans. And I didn't think he should have got fired. But whatever, they decided to do what they wanted to do. And they're losing just as bad without him as they were with him. So whatever. But
he had some good years there.
100%. But he had that one bad year, and they said, you know what, you're out. You know what I mean? Whatever. I thought it was too soon. They should have gave him at least another year to see. And they're terrible this year.
Yeah.
You know, give this call this guy up and be like, what will it take for you to be the Jets head coach? What will it take? Everything besides a GM, because I don't want you doing 2 jobs. I want you focusing on football. What will it take for you to be the head coach? And I'll give him a 10-year, $100 million deal like the Raiders gave Gruden. I don't care.
Yeah.
If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, he gets fired. And then what does it matter? You don't pay that whole salary anyway in football. He gets fired. He gets like a severance or like a quarter or whatever kind of percent of his contract.
Buyout.
Yeah, and then that's it. Fork it up. Like, he's the best coach out there right now. No Bill Belichick. He's never coming to the Jets. And to me, there's nobody else. Call him up right now. And that's it. And even if he wants to start doing it now, I'll throw that other guy I'll be like, yeah, I'll put you in next week. And just keep, what's his name? Olbrich as your defensive coordinator for now. And then you could change everybody you want next year. But just for right now, you could get the lay of the land. Like, because these are all wasted weeks right now. Wasted.
Yeah.
So just get them in. Stop wasting time. But, as a matter of fact, be smart at once. Like, I'm not saying, everyone's saying that they should have fired these guys last year. And they should have. But now to correct the mistake, you fired them in the middle of the year, that's fine. All this time that you have now, do something with it. Don't just let it rock and then wait till the end of the season, which is another 4 or 5 weeks away. 5 weeks away, and
the
then
problem is they haven't hired a new GM yet and a coach, a new GM, and usually, when you got to hire a new GM, they're gonna want to hire their coach.
Right.
They don't want to come in to a new job and they're like, oh, this is my quarterback. I don't like this guy.
I agree with that.
So that's the problem.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying, get the ball rolling now however you need to get it rolling. Because you have 5 free weeks here to get ahead of the game. Even if you say, this is my new GM for next year, he's not taking effect till January. At least you got the GM in place, and now the GM knows he can start making phone calls. Hey, you want to be a head coach for the Jets? Like, don't waste this time is all I'm saying. They're just wasting it at this point. Like, how many weeks has it been since they fired Saleh? Is it 4 maybe?
Yeah,
3?
I mean, I guess all the tampering rules and shit come into play. Like, they obviously can't talk to anybody who's on a roster right now, working for a team.
Right, but if I had my way, I would hire a guy that's not on a roster.
Right. But like, we're talking about Vrabel. Vrabel technically is on somebody's payroll right now, right? Yeah, because I saw him on the sideline and, what was it? It was last week. I saw him on the sideline for one of the teams.
Just he's on the sideline doesn't mean he's...
No, he was in their gear and everything. So I think he's like a consultant or something like that.
Well, we got to look into that. But, yeah. So, yeah, the Jets suck. Whatever. Let's just go with the picks.
Summary.
Yeah, in summary, the Jets suck. I'm over it. I guess that was my rant for the day. That went a little long, but whatever. How did we do last week? I feel like the Bengals and the Jets fucked me, so the best I could do is 2-2, but I have a feeling I went 1-3.
You didn't even do close to that, buddy. Sorry to tell you.
Oh, so I went 0-4 then.
All right, are we ready for this?
Yeah, give it to us.
So Ryan went the big donut, 0-4.
Ugh.
I went 2-2, and the winner of the week was the Wanderer at 3-1.
Wow, Wanderer coming back. He's probably ahead of me now.
So the tallies, no. So actually, the Wanderer and Ryan are tied at 25 and 26, and I am pulling away with a whopping 28 and 23 record. 5 games above 500.
But you're only 3 games ahead of us.
But I'm 5 games above 500.
That's great. Okay, and I guess not much is going to change this week. So go with your picks first. Let's see if we have a chance this week to make up some ground, because me and Wander are virtually dead even this week.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough because I think there's a lot of similar picks this week because of how crappy the schedule is looking this week. Let me just pull this up. Alright, so first I'm going with the Bills, who are facing the Rams in LA, and the Bills are giving 5. I just think the Bills are rolling. This is perfect setup for a letdown game.
why-
That now that we mentioned it, though, that was probably the most exciting game of the week, just for the simple fact of the weather that they
Yeah,
had.
the snow is
And how
crazy.
The field was covered in snow.
You know, people got paid $20 an hour to shovel over there.
Well, they didn't do that great of a job.
I mean, there was a lot of snow. I don't know if you saw. The seats were covered.
The seats you couldn't even.
But you know
see
what was
them.
a cool thing? They gave you $20 an hour. They gave you food and hot drinks. And I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming you had to have a ticket to the game to do it. But I'm assuming once you got into the stadium to shovel, like you were staying in that stadium.
Yeah, of course,
You know?
of course.
Yeah, if you didn't have a ticket, like
And then
they
of
didn't
course
say.
CMC goes down again. So.
Well, I'll be honest with you.
Surprise, surprise.
If you saw the snow, I'd be like, pal, you're not playing today. I wouldn't risk it. The guy gets hurt all the time. Why would you risk it?
And it was on one of those non-contact plays, which
Well,
those always end up being the worst.
But they said that he thought he heard it the play before, and then when they gave him the ball, he felt it and then just went down.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
But either which way, why would you play CMC, one of the best running backs in the league, in a snow game?
Where he's always bound to get hurt.
Correct.
Anyways,
Go ahead.
with my second game, that being said, I'm taking the 49ers. At home against the Bears, giving 4. I can't see that being much of a problem there. Third game, I'm going with the Chiefs. As much as I hate to do so, they're at home giving 3.5. You know, I'll root for the Chargers anyways. I like the Chargers.
That's a Sunday night game, right?
It is no. Oh yes, you're right. It's a Sunday night game,
Do
and you know what's going to happen. They'll either kick a field goal from 60 yards to win the game at the end of regulation, or they'll block a 35-yard field goal that's going to win the game for the Chargers. But whatever. That being said, and then finally, I'm going to go with the Cowboys at home, getting 5. Hopefully, they can finally win a home game. Ride this momentum of this, what are they?
2 games.
2-game winning streak.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess it's going to be the team that gets to 41st wins the game in this one.
100%. 100%. And so you're done with your pick, so I'll go to mine, and I'm going to go backwards since I'm piggybacking you on this pick. I'm going the opposite way with the Bengals because I think the Bengals are the only one that could get to 40, or if not close to it. I don't see Cooper Rush throwing for 300-something yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So what scares me about this game is I need Cooper Rush to be competent enough to keep them in the game where Burrows needs to throw the ball and score points and just for nothing else but maybe morale, get them a W.
The only problem is I can see Chase Brown rushing for 200 yards in this game.
If that happens, that would be fantastic. I would love that. If he rushed for 200 yards, that'd be probably close to a 50-point game for me because he'd have to have at least a touchdown or 2. And then that means I don't need Burrows to be that as good. Maybe just throw a touchdown or 2, 250 yards, get me 20 points, and then I'm okay with it. Since I'm going backwards, my next pick would be Bears versus the Niners. The Niners are giving them 4 points. I'm also going with the Niners because my top waiver wire pick is the only running back on their roster. So I'm hoping he has a monster game for me, and that'll work well for my fantasy. I was going to pick the Kansas City game myself. However, I'm going to that game. I'll be in Kansas City this weekend.
What?
Wow.
Yep.
Good for you.
Going to that game. Devang got tickets from somebody he works with. So I'll be in Kansas City, all red up, Patrick Mahomes jersey on, maybe next to Taylor Swift. She'll maybe sing me a lullaby song. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have no idea what's going to happen this weekend, but hopefully it's a lot of greatness, and I hope to see a Kansas City win, which is why I didn't pick them, because every time I pick somebody and I go to the game, they always lose, so I'm not doing it.
Mush it.
No, I don't want to mush it. So, and I don't want to, what is it, Kansas City 10-1 or something like that?
11-1.
11-1, I'm sorry. So I don't want to see their second, be part of their only second loss. So But the next game I am going to, which I would think would be an easy game for the Steelers, with them against the Browns, and they're giving 6.5. But after coming off of that win against the Bengals and the high-scoring game with the Browns versus the Broncos, I could see the Steelers winning by at least 7. So I picked the Steelers giving the points. And then my last pick of the week, which should have been my first, is the Jets versus the Dolphins in Miami. One of my old coworkers, I've known him a long time, he's going to that game. And he is someone that is just like me. He is a mush. So for the first week, I think all season, I'm actually picking the Dolphins with the points.
Maybe the first time on this podcast.
Right, yeah. I'm picking the Dolphins. I should say giving the points. They're giving the Jets 6. I can't see how the Dolphins lose at home to the Jets after the Jets haven't won a game since it was 80 degrees out. So, now we're almost in the dead of winter. I'm even wearing pants now, no more shorts. So
that's when you know it's winter.
Exactly. So,
Winter has come.
fins up, baby. Let's go.
All right. Let's see if we can keep this going this week.
I have to fix my spreadsheet because I put you in for the Jets.
I circled it. Sorry.
Oh my God, I didn't even look because I'm like, he's not going against.
Right.
At some point, you gotta get off this train at the right stop.
Oh boy! So
You know?
hold on, I gotta make an edit to the spreadsheet.
You better.
So it's gonna be Dolphins getting -6.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Wanderer. Sorry about
No
that.
worries. First up, I also like the Steelers -6.5. They seem to be one of the better teams in the AFC. I think they keep it rolling this week. Hopefully, Winston will throw a few more picks their way that turn into points. Next up, I also like the Fish -6. The Jets
Suck.
just seem to implode, and I think it continues this week. And Miami has a lot to play for, and they did put up 70 points one game last year. Who knows?
Who knows?
Third, I'm going to go with the Bills. I've been riding them a bit. I'm going to stay on that wagon, and hopefully they can get it done by more than 5 points. I think they probably are the best team in the AFC right now.
And they are looking good.
They sure are.
And last up, I am going to take the Bengals -5. Don't really have much of a read on this game, but I know the Bengals seem desperate, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the Bengals are the best team I've seen playing.
Yeah,
They have a top 5 offense, one of the worst defenses.
yeah. They're reminding me of a couple of years of Cowboys football where they were scoring a ton of points and their defense was.
And that wasn't too long ago. I remember that. It was
Right.
like 2 years ago, maybe.
Right.
Where Dak was going crazy, but they had no defense. But yeah, anyway, that's it for football. I'm so exhausted by these sports sometimes, but whatever. It is what it is being in New York. Anything that we've been watching lately?
Well, I did start watching From.
And how many episodes first? Don't even tell me what you liked about the show yet. I want to know how many episodes you're in.
4 episodes into season 2.
Oh my God. I was about to kill you. I'm like, you're only 4 episodes in. I told you last week you had a week.
Yeah.
So you did some work.
Yeah,
All right,
man.
now talk to me about it. That's a lot, actually.
And losing sleep over it because you just go from one episode. It's good. It's
very good.
Just totally crazy, right? It just every episode ends perfectly to get you to want to watch one more episode and then one more episode but very good, very good.
Yeah, that's why I learned, when I work out, I watch an episode or episode and a quarter and a half, and I know, okay, tomorrow I can watch another episode and a half, so it's whatever. If I was doing it here, I'd probably need a vacation just to catch up and just watch it all.
Yeah.
I'm almost at the end of season 3, so I'm gonna have it's great.
Good?
It's great.
I gotta be honest with you. After season 2, I wasn't. I don't know.
Really, you lost interest,
Maybe I'll go back to it.
dude. It's just one thing.
I don't like when I don't know I need something. I need when I'm watching the show. I need to get some kind of idea of what's going on, and I feel like 2 seasons in, I do
No
absolutely
idea.
fucking
Right.
nothing, and that bothers me.
I'm the exact
But-
opposite.
But I think a couple of the writers or creators are from Lost, so that doesn't surprise me either.
Oh, it doesn't surprise
Right,
me.
and it totally has that Lost feeling to it.
Right, and like you said, where it just keeps you going to the next.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's funny. I didn't even know that, but now that you say that, it makes
Makes more
perfect sense.
Yeah.
I didn't know it too till my friend told me.
Oh, perfect sense, dude. Because it's like I think I said it last week. It's like the minute you start to get an idea of what's
They
happening,
go another way.
not only do they go another way, they just throw another tidbit in there, and you're like, wait, what? What is going on? And that's where I am right now. Like, I'm literally an episode and a half away from the end of season 3. And spoiler alert, there's a season 4. So whatever you think is going to get settled at the end of season 3, it's probably not. And
Oh, it's already announced as a season.
yeah,
four?
but you know what the worst problem is? It's not coming out for like probably another year and a half.
Oh.
They say 2026, which means they're probably still filming. I don't know when this one dropped. I think it dropped over the summer, like end of the summer.
These are all recent seasons then.
Yeah.
All recent
Yeah, it's the last 3 years.
Okay.
Which is why I find it weird that it says 2026. Maybe that'll change, but like their next season should be next year in like August. So the fact that they're pushing it back to 2026 makes me think one or two things. Season 4 is the last season,
Yeah.
or it's going to be a longer season, and then that's it. Like I don't think it's going past season 4. So the good news for you, since you kind of lost interest in it because you're opposite of, I guess, me. Ernie can speak for himself, but me, I like it because it keeps throwing me for loops where I'm still engaged. Because I'm the type of person that wants to figure something out, and the minute I'm like, oh, I know what's happening, then they throw something in there, and you're like, wait, what the hell is going on now? Like, there's always another thing.
Because I kind of agree. Like, it keeps you engaged.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's not going so overboard that you're like, oh, this is just crazy. I can't watch this anymore, right?
And it's not like overboard because the premise of the show is already so outlandish that all these little things that are happening, like people hearing shit or seeing shit, it all makes sense. But not every one of them leads somewhere until 5 or 6 episodes down the line, and then once you get clarity on one thing, then something else pops up.
Right.
So like I know I'm going to be let down in like tomorrow in some way the next day or two, that it's a super cliffhanger, or like you'll get something that's settled and then it springs something else. But I'm gonna finish this show because I have a feeling that season 4 is where it just ends. My only hope now, and I just thought of this because you just said it with the whole Lost people.
Right.
I hope it doesn't have an ending like Lost, because I watched all Lost and it was 7 seasons or whatever it was, and I hated that ending like I hated The Sopranos.
The
ending was awful. Like they could have ended it like a billion different ways, and I'd have been like, wow, this is one of the best shows ever. But because of that ending, I'm like, what? Like what?
Just more questions.
Right, and like you can't leave us like that. Like if you're gonna be this, my whole thing is when you're this creative and you have this good of a show, and I don't even know how many people actually like it. To be fair, I like it. Everyone that I've told to watch it has liked it. Whatever, but if you're this creative and you're this good of a writing crew, come up with a good freaking ending that just ends
You
it.
gotta be able to wrap it up.
Yeah, just wrap it the hell up.
It makes you wonder. Like,
Yeah. Don't be like Sopranos, like, I wanted it to be this way. I wanted you wondering. No, man. We don't pay, or we don't watch it. We don't pay for HBO Max to wonder what happened at the end of Sopranos. Same thing with Lost. We didn't invest all that time to wonder, are they dead or are they not dead?
Yeah, and if you're doing 2 seasons and you don't know if you're coming back for a 3rd season and you do that, that's one thing, right? Because now you always leave the possibility of that, you might come back, you might
Right,
not
someone
come
else
back.
picks you up or whatever.
Right, so let's leave people hanging. But not when you're doing a show that's been on for, 10 seasons or close to that, and then it's like, we've invested all this time and energy in it, and then you just leave it like that. Just
Finish it. End it. You're that good of a writer. You can't come up with I don't even need a amazing ending. I just need an ending.
Yeah.
I don't want to be guessing when I'm watching a show, what did I just watch for the last 7 years of my life? Or even the last 3 or 4. Like if you And the thing is they already know that there's a season 4. So if they don't know there's a season 5, wrap it up.
Right.
That's it. Because you could always, if you're that good of a writer, you could always spin it back. That a new, like, look what The Walking Dead did. Even though The Walking Dead is like so overblown now with all these different spin-offs, but they had 11 seasons. They kept it going. And then they ended it. And then they said, okay, you know what? To make more money, we're going to spring people off in twos and make these little mini-series. And, you know, they're not terrible, but you're just like over it at some of these guys at this point. But if you only have 4 seasons, wrap it up. Or 6 seasons, wrap it up. Done. Anyway, whatever. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much been taking up.
Good, I'm proud of you. You did some good homework. I expect you to be caught up to me by next week. Wonder?
Yeah, I've watched a few things. You know, it's been a minute, so I'm sure there's some things I forgot too. But Cobra Kai, that was a couple weeks back. That was good. I enjoyed it. Definitely looking forward to the final, however many handful.
5.
Final 5.
Yep, I'm caught up with that too.
Yeah, that was cool. I watched Romulus. That was cool. I enjoyed that. I really didn't have any expectation of what it was going to be going into it, but I thought it was cool that they had like a young female going back to, you know, kind of like the original idea.
Yeah.
And
I still haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I can't.
It's on Hulu.
Oh, is it on Hulu?
Yeah.
Okay, so it means it's also on Disney, so I can watch it. All right.
Yeah, it came out on Hulu.
I'll get to it.
a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so enjoyed that. That was good.
You know they're having a TV show with that?
I heard
Alien Earth.
I heard.
And that's before the first movie.
I saw.
Which
Oh,
is,
really?
It's intriguing.
It's
Yeah.
going to be on FX, right?
Yeah. Which is, I don't know how I feel about that, but I feel like FX is almost enough of like a movie channel where like it can still be good, hopefully, if they have good writing.
I kind of feel like mostly anything Alien is decent enough to watch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree.
I even watched the most recent one before this for the second time, and I liked it better on the second
Go around.
Covenant, was it?
Yeah, no, Covenant was good.
I liked it better on the second
Okay.
viewing. But and what else? I started watching Silo on
That's
Apple.
good.
You
That's
guys
good.
watch that?
Yeah.
The first
still
season.
I'm still in the first season. Like, it took me like a little bit to get into it because it kind of feels like a little slow moving.
It is.
at
It
the
is.
beginning.
But by the end, you're like,
Okay.
whoa.
Yeah, so I'm probably like,
Season
5.
2 is out now.
Yes, I saw that.
So I'm waiting for that to finish up.
Got you. So yeah, so I'm probably like maybe 5 or 6 into that.
Okay.
Taking my time with it though.
You should, because let the other one, second season, catch up, because
Right.
then you could just roll right into that.
Right. Again, like I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff, but then I also watched this documentary called Buy Now on Netflix. It's about like shop it, how like everyone over shops and like it creates like a lot of waste and not really it's kind of depressing a little bit. But, it was interesting just to.
I can't
to
watch
check
that
it
during
out.
Christmas time.
No, definitely not.
Not when you're
good.
buying hundreds of gifts
Exactly.
for people.
Definitely
Like, I don't want to watch
not
that.
a good time
Not
to
a good time for that. Maybe January, if you want to really like get depressed in the beginning of the new year, I'll maybe check that out. But as of right now, like most of December is geared to like these. I'm not even gonna say Hallmark movies anymore, because like all these streaming services have their own Christmas movies. So I'm just gonna say streaming Christmas movies.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them out there that are you really have to do research on, because you could pick the wrong one and you wasted an hour and a half of your life.
Forgot.
Yeah.
Just
Go ahead.
Popped
Do
in.
it.
Say Nothing. Hulu. Very good.
Say nothing.
Yeah, it's about the IRA.
Oh, is that the Irish show that just came out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Very
saw
good.
that.
Very
How
good.
many episodes are out? Oh, they just dropped
8,
them all.
I think it's 8 or 9.
Oh, so they dropped them all at once.
I guess.
They had to, because I
They
literally
must
just
have, yeah.
I literally saw a commercial on it next
Like
week that
a
was just
couple
coming
weeks
out.
ago.
Maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Mhm.
That show was coming out. So they must have just dropped all the episodes.
Yeah, I just thought it was well done. Like, felt like that.
I wanted to check that out. Okay, Say Nothing. All right, so
Say
we're gonna check that out. We're definitely gonna check that out. Yeah. So I've been watching some of these Christmas movies, and like, you got to be careful. You have to be careful.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like with those movies, you could pretty much tell 5 minutes into it that, you know what, we might want to switch to something else.
Yeah, yes and no, right? So I watched something yesterday, and it was with Maya Rudolph and Jason Bateman. It's 52 minutes. It's on Netflix, I want to say. It's a 52 minutes. It's Who Killed Santa Claus. It's like a murder mystery from Murderville. I don't even know what that is. But it was kind of funny.
I would think so. I mean, Jason Bateman
Right.
is great.
Right. But the thing about it is Jason Bateman and Maya Rudolph have no script, but everyone else does. And they just throw them into like the scenes and like
Oh, so it's like improv.
well,
And what's
they're
this on?
they're improv. I think it's Netflix, but I don't remember
And what's it called?
I think it's called Who Killed Santa or something like that, or it's just put Santa Murderville in, and like you'll find it. It's when you go to, I'm pretty sure it was Netflix. When you go to Netflix, it's in like the holiday section, and it's like midway through. But I watched that last night, and then I watched something with I can't remember the chick's name, but the Asian dude that was in Fantasy Island, that was Tattoo. Is that it? Anyway, that was good. It was. I mean, the thing with these Christmas movies is, within 20 minutes of watching the movie, you don't know if it's good or bad, but you know exactly where the movie is going. Meaning, like, you know what the ending's gonna pretty much be like, just how they're gonna spin it. You know what I mean? Because there's always something about love and this, that, and the other, and it's always Christmas time. So you figure it out. The problem is by the 2-minute trailer that you watch, you got to determine if it's worth watching or not. And that's the hard part, because there's so many of them now, because it's not like 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, Hallmark made 30 movies a year, and that was the only place you could go to watch these Christmas movies. Now, Netflix has some of those Hallmark movies, and they have their own. And that's just Netflix. You Prime, you have all these other websites, all these other Hulu, you have all these other things. So you got to look through these for, decent Christmas movies, I'm actually going to watch the Kurt Russell Christmas movie. I don't remember what the name is, so don't ask me, but I haven't seen it. I just saw it. I think that's also on Netflix. I'm going to see if that's any good.
From a couple of years back?
I think it's like 2 years ago it came out.
Yeah. It's good. It's a good movie.
Okay, so I'm probably going to check that out tonight. But other than that, finishing from... Did anyone hear really quickly about The Last Kingdom? It's a show, I want to say it's on maybe Hulu.
No, I never heard of it.
So my buddy Mike told me about it because we were talking. We always bounce back TV shows with each other. So I told him about From. He's going to start watching that. He told me to watch The Last Kingdom. He said it's really good.
Okay.
So check that out.
This show that I keep seeing commercials for lately, The Agency, that looks like it's going to be very good. I mean, it's got a great cast.
That's on Showtime?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was just, 100% Showtime. So yeah, that's it. Let's keep rocking and rolling. It's the Christmas season, so we'll see what we'll be watching the next couple weeks. Next week we'll be coming at you a day later on Wednesday. So yeah. Anyone got anything else? Oh, your music. Sorry. Yeah.
That's all right.
Go ahead.
3 picks as usual.
Absolutely.
First up, Kendrick Lamar with GNX. Next up, we have Michael Kiwanuka with Small Changes. And third up, this is an older album, but they just did some shows at Webster Hall last week. TV on the Radio with Return to Cookie Mountain. Those are the 3 picks for this week.
Awesome. So we hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Now we're in the Christmas season. Everyone have a great time shopping for gifts. Don't watch that documentary if you are shopping for gifts. I know I won't. I'll get depressed in January, if not February, over that. There's plenty of other stuff to watch out there, so enjoy all the stuff that we've been talking about. You won't be disappointed.
Take care.
There you go. Enjoy your week, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right.
Later.